Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia. Welcome and welcome to yet another edition of our program, The Hour of Politics, with me, Anthony C., your host. In this edition of The Hour of Politics, we are relaying live on the radio in Liberia. This broadcast, as we speak, is live right now on the radio in Liberia on FM 107.9. That is Hot FM in Morovia. I'm Anthony here hosting, yes, of course, another edition of the Hour of Politics, and we are broadcasting from our headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to this edition. You might be wondering what is Focus on Liberia up to today. We have a very important topic to discuss. Very interesting indeed, as always here. Our topic in this edition: the Liberian Senate is a complete letdown, the case of Prince Johnson. This topic will be discussed today, and those of you joining us in Radio Land in Liberia, I want to welcome you to the broadcast here, Focus on Liberia, in collaboration with Half FM 107.9. Welcome to the broadcast. Let's get started here quickly. The man Prince Johnson is in the Liberian Senate. And there has been a lot of talk about Prince Johnson on one hand and also on the Liberian Senate on the other hand. But why are we saying today, as we say here in our topic, the Liberian Senate is a complete letdown, the case of Prince Johnson? We are using the case of Prince Johnson to really understand and also be able to know what kind of Senate we have in our country. Because this Senate plays a very important role, or maybe it should be playing a very important role, right? But the question is our Senate, the Liberian Senate, up to the task here in helping not only to provide leadership in our country, but also to be able to provide the necessary oversight that will lead to a transformative Liberia, a one that your child, my son, our children, the young ones, the ones who are the future leaders of this country, will be able to have that future that they deserve, so that they can become the leaders of tomorrow. Is that Liberian Senate up to that task? When we have a guy like Prince Johnson, who, quote unquote, is this man who fought for the people of Nimba. But let's get started here quickly with this topic. So the first thing that you might be wondering, who is Prince Johnson? Since our topic is the Liberian Senate is a complete letdown, the case of Prince Johnson. Who is Prince Johnson? Let me tell you who Prince Johnson is based on my research. Prince Johnson, our understanding, was born in Tapeta, Nimba County, and he moved to live with his uncle in Morovia. That is Prince Johnson. We know Prince Johnson to have been a member of the armed forces of Liberia between 1971 to 1983. We also know, reportedly, that Prince Johnson was part of the 1985 abortive eviction that was left by Thomas Kuyonpa. We also know that he was an ally of Charles Taylor. They jointly launched a bloodbath on our country in 1989. Few months or years later, so to speak, he broke ranks with Charles Taylor and established the Independent National Patriotic Front of Liberia. So we know Prince Johnson is a rebel leader, and he's not a good rebel leader, so to speak. He is a notorious war criminal because we know this to be true that he was indicted by the TRC. So there's recommendation in the TRC report that has forwarded Prince Johnson name to be investigated at the recommended war crime tribunal. We also know Prince Johnson to be the one who was the guy who killed our late president, Samuel Kayando. He could not spare Samuel Kayando. So we know this guy to be a brutal war criminal who perpetrated mayhem, slaughtered thousands of people, either directly or indirectly through his forces. So this man, Prince Johnson, is not a decent man. He fought a ruthless civil war. He was the one who killed at any minute with no remorse whatsoever. This is the man, Prince Johnson. Now, Prince Johnson may want to tell you different story about who he actually is, but we know Prince Johnson to be who he has been all along. Now, let us also go further by saying, of late, Prince Johnson continued to carry himself as the senator of the people of Nimba County. Rightfully so. He was elected not only once, but twice. All right, by the people of Nimba. And Prince Johnson told the people of Nimba County that he is their son and that he fought for them during the war. So the question we are asking is, where was Prince Johnson then during the war? And I will come to the piece of the Liberian Senate here. And the reason we are doing this particular reporting here is that Prince Johnson was elected by the Liberian Senate to be chairman for national defense and intelligence. And despite Liberians across the globe complaining about this decision by the Senate, they won't act until the US government have to come and complain. And I will come to that, folks. So let's talk about who Prince Johnson actually is. So this senator of Nimba County, carrying himself as a pastor of Christ Chapel of Faith Ministry, and he goes with the title an evangelist. Prince Johnson is an evangelist? Why people think he is an evangelist anyway? Because he has a church, because he stands before the pulpit and preaches something that he is the only one who understands it. I see Prince Johnson as a coward. Prince Johnson is a classic definition of somebody who is a coward. This guy will lecture us that he was a guerrilla fighter, a guerrilla warrior, and because what? He was killing people. And this man who claimed to have this record of being a trained soldier, a guerrilla fighter for that matter, is afraid to sit before a war crime tribunal to answer questions concerning the role that he played in the war. Prince Johnson is afraid. Anytime he hears about war and economic crimes, quote, as though hell is coming upon him. He can't even maintain his cool and his calm. Prince Johnson, we know, is not the only warlord on whose hands our people were raped, children were conscripted and killed, slaughtered, subjected to sexual slavery and all manners of abominable acts. Prince Johnson is not the only one, but why is it about this guy that whenever he hears about this war crime court, it's like he is the only guy this court is being recommended to be established for him to answer questions. And it's obvious that this man is afraid of the court, the quote unquote purported, guerrilla fighter. He's afraid of the court. Can you believe that? So that's what I'm looking at. I said, this man is a coward living on past glory. The past glory that he was, this guy holding this gun, this guy looking, holding this gun and just killing people. That is what he was doing. And now, after he's done all that, Prince Johnson is using the name of God in vain, purporting himself as a pastor, as a man of God. It's just sad. And to the people of Nimba who continue to elect, or elect this Prince Johnson man, I really want to know, who are Prince Johnson's parents and siblings, especially his father? I really want to know. Can anybody from Nimba come and tell us? I mean, this man claims to be a traditional son of Nimba County, right? Traditional son of Nimba County, and yet he goes with the name Prince Johnson. I know in Liberia, many people have taken on Western names, which is unfortunate, and I won't hesitate to say that. If you have a Western name and you are a Liberian, Anthony is not afraid to tell you there's a problem there. But maybe name doesn't matter. But a traditional son of Nimba County is, quote unquote, carrying the name Prince Johnson. Well, many Liberians have, westernized names and all that, maybe because of our American Liberian, roots and all that, and history. So we'll leave that for now. But Prince Johnson is indeed a coward. Mr. Johnson is a coward, a ruthless war criminal. It seems to be he has some kind of spare on the people of Nimba. That's why Prince Johnson got some kind of spare on the people of Nimba. They continue to elect this guy. And because he lied to them, that he was defending them. But when we look at the history of the war, Prince Johnson spent most of his entire fighting time in Kawa, right there in Morovia. It was Charles Taylor who was in charge of Nimba County for the most time. So how the guy who was in Kawa, in Morovia, Monserrato County, succeeded in telling the people of Nimba that he was fighting for them, that he defended them? Was he defending them in Kawa? Or the few Nimba people that were in Kawa, those are the ones that he's talking about? And they continue to elect this man over and over. Another thing Prince Johnson has been able to do successfully was to trade Nimba County for his own political protection. That is what Prince Johnson has been able to do successfully. Mr. Prince Johnson, same he came back from Nigeria. This guy who claimed that he's so strong and brave have to even escape from Liberia and go to Nigeria, where he stayed for years. So the people of Nimba that he claimed that he was fighting for and protecting, all that time he was in Nigeria, there where he was protecting the people of Nimba. First, he spent most of the time in Carwell, where he was killing people. And then when the war came to an end, somehow he went to Nigeria. And he was still in Nigeria protecting you, the people of Nimba County. And now you give this guy your blessing. I don't know how long he lived in Nimba, You gave him your blessing by making him your senator. And what does he do with that privilege, that opportunity you gave him? Prince Johnson is trailing power for his own protection. How do we know? This Prince Johnson will give support to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for fear that maybe Ellen Johnson will have brought the war crime court, and being that she is clever, she will find a way for her to get herself exonerated, but Prince Johnson will be left in the dreadnought of the war crime court. So Prince Johnson was afraid, and he gave support to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf throughout the time Ellen Johnson was in power. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf won those elections because of Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson did that because of Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson wanted protection. What has the people of Nimba County benefited from this man? And then came now President George Malawiya. George Weah, now his new friend is Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson now is his new friend. And here is the guy. That is George Weah's new friend. Or maybe because the two of them, they are pastors, right? So because the guy does not want the war crime court, he's always trading the people of Nimba for his own political protection. A murderer who came to power with no remorse, howling behind the pulpit, using God's name in vain. And this is the guy the Liberian Senate will elect to be the chairperson on national security and defense and intelligence in our country. What does that say about the Senate? So, folks, that is why we have this topic. The Liberian Senate is a complete letdown, the case of Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson, if the Liberian Senate is serious about the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Court in any shape or form, they should not have elected Prince Johnson to be chairman on national security and defense and intelligence. But that is what the Liberian Senate did. Can you believe that, folks? Now, this guy trades power for his own protection. Now, here is the very Prince Johnson. When Prince Johnson got to know that George Weah, now President George Weah, was a heartbeat away from the presidency, there is Prince Johnson with George Malawiya. They both of them are meeting TV Joshua. May his soul rest in peace. This is what Prince Johnson does. He's a coward who is afraid of war crime courts, so he uses his power. He uses the blessing the people of Nimba County have given him. The people of Nimba County that always try to vote for this guy. Whenever they vote for him, now he will use their vote and trade it to any president to protect himself, to hide himself, to shield himself, to prevent the coming of the War and Economic Crimes Court. So the Liberian Senate that should be standing up for the people of Liberia, especially when it comes to the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. This Liberian Senate, under this leadership of President Pro Tem Abochie, will provide a leadership that will see the election of Prince Johnson as chairman on national security and defense at the Liberian Senate. And you think the Liberian Senate I'm looking at right here with a bunch of visionary leaders with no vision whatsoever. They do not even understand the implications of the decision that they make. Oh yes, it's obvious. We know the Senate. They have never, in my understanding, done anything meaningful that is in the interest of the Liberian people. Everything they have done, from what we know, is all about their pocket. How in the war You elect this man with this record. And now, folks in the CDC, their justification is that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did the same thing. So why are you people making this noise? So Ellen Johnson Sirleaf now is your standard? Didn't you say Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was corrupt? Didn't you say Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had no interest in the war and economic crimes court? And so you, the CDC, was coming to give us the court. And now you come and tell us, Ellen Daly, so it's okay that we do it? Can you imagine how mentally bankrupt you are in your argument? Your argument holds no water. So the election of Prince Johnson clearly exposed this Liberian Senate that it is not on the side of the Liberian people. Liberians in their majority won the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. But let me bring you pieces of things here so that we can get into it here. So the Liberian Senate in May of 2021 came under massive criticism for electing Senator Johnson, chairman of the Senate Security Committee. That's what they did in May of 2021, just this year. Then what happened? Liberian Senate were also condemned by the U.S. Embassy near Monrovia for the election of the notorious warlord as chairman of the committee, meaning talking about national security. The U.S. Embassy accused Nimba County Senator of well-documented gross human rights violation during the Liberian Civil Wars. The Liberian Senate has received a letter from Nimba County Senator Prince Johnson informing them of his resignation from the position of chairman on the Senate Committee on National Security, Defense, and Intelligence. So, when Prince Johnson was elected, Liberians across the globe, war crime advocates, told the Liberian Senate this is wrong. How in this war could Abache and some leaders in the Senate elect this man? And here is the thing. This man was elected unopposed. Nobody went against him. Prince Johnson was elected on white ballot. So what continued to happen in this country is that victims of the war and the Liberian people have been used and abused and taken for granted by the people we elect every other time. Abache can't tell me he doesn't know Liberians need the War and Economic Crimes Court. He knows that. But yet, Abache doesn't care. It has to take a U.S. government embassy to complain about the very thing the people they represent have complained about. The people that elected you are telling you, do not elect this man. Take the man off the committee. They will not listen. They waited and waited until a white man have to come and tell them. This is how they don't respect themselves and they don't respect the people they represent and the country that they represent. Your people who elected you, who you represent at the Senate, complaining that this is not right. This is a slap in the face of people who are victims of this man's behavior. This man slaughter people. This man slaughter fragilely. This man. And many other Liberians that I can't name right now. And the children of these people are alive. The children of Samuel, though, they are alive today. And Liberians who witness this man murdering the former president on camera, on TV. Something that's simple. Very, very simple. These leaders that we elected, they couldn't see it. It was too much for them. The same spare Prince Johnson got on the people of Nimba. It's like he got it on these people at the Senate. Can you believe this, fellow Liberians? How could they consciously make a very unbelievable decision of electing a war criminal, a murderer who has no remorse whatsoever? The man who has been in the business of trading power for his own protection, and a abortier who maybe float around that he's for war crime code. Elect this man, and their justification to folks in the CDC telling us Ellen Johnson did it, so it's okay. There was a reason the Liberian people elected this CDC, because they wanted the Liberian people, they wanted their CDC to give to them the war crimes code that they have been yearning for. I want the war crime code, and many Liberians do. And your justification is that Ellen did it, so we can do it too. What Ellen did was wrong, and you should not be doing it. You told us you were the change. And so this Senate that we have has exposed itself to not being on the side of the Liberian people. This is a Senate that passed Iboma at the 4G speed in the middle of the night because of brown envelope. This is the very Senate that passed Atom at the 4G speed in the middle of the night because of brown envelope. This is the Senate that has also passed a dubious stimulus package in the middle of the night because they got 6,500. This is the Senate we are talking about, as though they have not had excesses, they have not made decisions that are not in the interest of the Liberian people. They have come back to use and abuse us and take our people for granted by electing a war criminal on a committee for national security and defense. Can you, the Liberian people, believe this? And it has to take a white man to complain about Prince Johnson's behavior. This man's behavior, this man's killing of people, his role in the war, completely well documented across the world. What message are you sending to our friends? Our friends in Sierra Leone were able to establish the War and Economic Crimes Court, and they prosecuted the war criminals that took part in Sierra Leone. We have not been able to do that, as though that is not a slap in the face of our people already. And then you come and elect this man, and your justification is because Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did that. And now, Aborchie, you will not believe it, after he received a letter from Prince Johnson, will go on to thank Prince Johnson, telling him thank you for what? Oh, because Mr. Whiteman, the U.S. Embassy complained the very things that we said. The very things that we said. Those are the things the embassy told you. We said them over and over. You don't listen to your people. It have to take a white man. We even sell it better and in the most forceful way than the very U.S. Embassy right there. And then you claim that you are a sovereign country, but another country has to speak before you act. But you don't respect the voices of the people that you represent, the people that pay your salary. The free cars that you ride, the people that pay for it, when they talk to you, when they tell you this is what we want, you don't listen. You listen to the white man who does not pay your salary. We are indeed in trouble in our country. We have no representation. We have a Senate that is a complete letdown, and it's not in our interest. This is sad for our people. And so, folks, Aborchie, as though what they did was not enough, this is what he did again. This Senate leadership, Senator Prince Johnson, has been appointed to the Ways, Means, Finance, and Budget Committee as a member by President Pro Tem Aborchie. So Aborchie When the U.S. embassy complained, after he did not listen to his own people that he represents, he turned around and appointed Dave Spring Johnson as member on a committee for Ways, Means, and Finance. What does Spring Johnson know about finance for him to be on a budget committee? I thought you people say he's a security expert because he did kill him. So that is expertise, executing people. How is executing people, which is this man record, in any way relevant when it comes to budgeting or finance? My people, are you listening to this? Abotier, this guy is from Grand Cru. This guy must have shared the same county, and he makes decision as a little kid with no brain. I am not going to be kind about this today. These people continue to use our people. We complain that man should not have been on a committee on security. You didn't listen, American talk. Now you're listening because white men talk. And then you're putting in on a budget committee to do what? What's the Prince Johnson know about budgeting? This man, all he's going to tell you is that do not form anything that has to do with a war crime code. That's why he's going to kick against. Well, folks, there you have it. So there are a few questions that I'm asking here. There are a few questions I'm asking. Question number one. What kind of Senate is the Liberian Senate and who are their leaders? The Liberian Senate is a complete letdown. Their leaders are visionless. They don't have our people's best interest at heart. They are all about themselves. They are all about protecting themselves. And they are all about doing anything and everything that pleases the president. The president now, his godfather is Prince Johnson. So Abotier, being a member of the ruling party, will have to do everything to please the president, even though he was elected by the people of Grand Cru County to represent Grand Cru and Liberia ably and responsibly. But instead of representing the people of Liberia and the people of Grand Cru, he is at the Senate representing President George Weah. Because George Weah and Prince Johnson now are best of friends, he dare not do anything that will make George Weah angry. So you see how to play our people. This very George Weah, when he was pressed on the issue of the War and Economic Crimes Court, he said, oh, I never asked for war crime court. You, the journalists, you, the perpetrators, you, your victims, you have been asking for war and economic crimes court. And so now I sent it to the legislature to advise. Can you believe? So this is Abotier now advising George Weah, right? This is the Liberian Senate now advising George Weah, right? By electing unopposed Prince Johnson on a committee for national security. When we are talking about war crime court, when the issue of war crime court borders on security, and you pull Prince Johnson, the guy who is being indicted by the TRC and recommended for prosecution investigation, this coward who is so afraid of war crimes court that whenever he hears it, it's like hell is about to break upon him. And that's the guy you have to. And then now, after pressure from U.S. Embassy, you beg, you crawl on your knee, Prince Johnson, please, we beg you, please resign. This thing is looking bad. Prince Johnson, too, like I told you, he's a coward. I mean, you're being elected, right? Why are you resigning? After you say you are this brave guerrilla fighter. He's a coward. He ran from Liberia and went to Nigeria. He came back. He's being elected by his people. This is the guy. So the Liberian Senate, folks, is a complete letdown. Bunch of visionary leaders who don't have your best interest at heart. What does the election of Prince Johnson say about the Liberian Senate? It's simple. What it says about the Liberian Senate is that the Liberian Senate is not interested in the issues that have to do with the material well-being of our people. For this Senate, when this coronavirus, the Delta variants hit, to call an emergency section to appropriate money for us to buy vaccine, they will not do it. Up to now, they have not done anything about it. You would think Abachi and the Senate will call an emergency section to make available about 10 to 15 million to purchase vaccine. All they're doing is going around begging. So who elected Prince Johnson and what made them elect him unopposed? The Senate elected him. They elected him because it pleases their godfather, the president. So they did it. Why did the Senate leadership now join the effort to have Prince Johnson removed? Because they've been pressured by U.S. government, not the Liberian people who elected them. That's why they pressure Prince Johnson, and Prince Johnson, being a coward, to have to resign. And Abachi is telling him thank you. For them to pacify Prince Johnson, he have to appoint him on a budget committee as though Prince Johnson knows anything about budget. Is the Liberian Senate serious about the War and Economic Crime Code? They're not serious. Of recent, they've been having consultation, right? What kind of consultation you having about the War Crime Code? That thing's been debated. They've been documented about it. Introduce a bill and call people. Instead of dancing around the subject, introduce a bill and call Liberians to come and make their presentation. Why we should establish it? But they are dancing around the issue. They're trying to want to set up some form of committee. Committee for what? Want to set another committee to waste time. Wasn't the TRC like a committee? Which political party controls the leadership of the Senate? The CDC does. Is the CDC interested in war crime codes? Of course not. The CDC is not interested. Prince Johnson now is a member of the CDC. Can you believe that? Which political party is Prince Johnson a member of now, and where is his political party? I don't know where his political party is. He's with Prince Johnson, where he's with CDC, rather, wearing CDC barrel all the time. That's what Prince Johnson does. And seditionists are celebrating. Folks, can you believe this thing? A Mamba Molu and all celebrating Prince Johnson because he joined CDC. This is the CDC that was toting casting in Morovia for war crimes code. Can you see how these people, when they come to power, they just abandon their own words? They can't even stand by it. This is depressing for our country. Who will come to power and stand for the Liberian people for once? No one. Which political group is in majority in the Senate? I would think that the CPP, that other so-called CPP, they're in majority. And this CPP could not stop the election of Prince Johnson. So, my people, when I told you the Liberian Senate is a complete letdown, they don't have your interest at heart. You go to CDC, it's a hopeless situation. You come to CPP, it's another hopeless situation. This very CPP has been the one colluding with CDC and passed the Booker stimulus package where the money was stolen and they have no accountability. This is the very CPP lawmakers that colluded or connived with CDC and authorized the printing of $4 billion, and we can't see the money. There was a shortage of money, and now they want to print, what's the amount they're trying to print again? I think $37.78 billion they're trying to print. Folks, we are in a hopeless situation with the Liberian Senate. So when America coughs, everyone catches the cold. Why does it always have to be America? Why can't we listen to our own people for once? So, folks, the Liberian Senate is a complete letdown, the case of Prince Johnson. And to you, the Liberian people, you continue to help in doing this thing to yourself. Now, the Bible is very eloquent In Matthew chapter 7:21, not everyone who says, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. That was Comrade Jesus speaking. Prince Johnson, after doing all this killing, came to you that he's an evangelist. And you bought this lecture. CDC bought the lecture, they're rolling with Prince Johnson. Nimba people bought the lecture, they continue to elect him. They didn't see the killing that he's done. Because he's saying, Lord, Lord, they are all for him. We can't build this country like this, folks. We cannot build this country like this. So the Liberian Senate is a letdown. The Liberian people are part and parcel of this behavior with this elections of Prince Johnson. And up to now, there has not been a massive protest against this behavior by the Liberian Senate. What does that tell you? Well, folks, we will leave it there for now and try to take your calls. Like we told you, this broadcast is being laid right now on Hot FM, that is 107.9 in Liberia. The phone numbers are right there in a scrolling text. You can call right now, and then you will have the opportunity to participate. Also, we have a WhatsApp number. In the scrolling text below, you will see the WhatsApp number. So the lines are open right now. I'm taking calls. I am taking calls. I am taking calls. So I am taking calls. I see a call here coming. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Aros.
Yeah, so when you were speaking about, the Prince Johnson situation, it really shows, the lack of understanding and really the reflection of Liberian society as a whole. We see this with General Bud Naked, who says he's an evangelist and reformed Christian, and he's done all of these crimes. There's no way in a civilized or stable society that somebody like Prince Johnson should even have the thought of running.
Yeah.
There's no way. If people in the whole county of Nimba County should know, no, you're not going to represent us in the Senate, and you've done all of these crimes against humanity, that you're supposed to be in jail. And now that you have Liberians increasingly realizing we want this court, we can't heal if you still have these warlords and those who committed crimes still running around the country like ain't nothing happened. Like, yeah, the war was a long time ago, ain't nothing. No, 250,000 people died from that. The economy was destroyed for the participants who did this.
So true. Thank you so very much. He's right. The caller is right. That was Daros who joined us here from the US. So, folks, the phone numbers are open. The WhatsApp number is there. And also our conference number is there. You can call to participate. We have about 9 minutes left to conclude this broadcast. So you want to call now and participate. Let me read a few comments here quickly if I can. Let me read a few comments here if I can. I see. Let me read a few comments here if I can. This is from Patient Blay Atto. Patient Blay Atto. This only tells us that the Liberian Senate does not have the security of the nation as heart, and she is on point. I agree with her. Let's hear from Franklin Conan, where I totally agree with you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you. Let's hear from James Coleman. How about the children of the 13 government official, Mr. Doe, tied on the pole on the beach on April 12, 1980, April 22nd, 1980, and murder in Kubla? Was he better than those innocent 13 government officials? Are his children better than the children of the 13 minor government officials? He who lives by the sword, so shall he die by the sword. A few comments there. So, folks, that is it. that is it. We will be closing here soon. We let me have the man Jimmy Eastman. Jimmy Eastman is joining the line. Jimmy, quickly to the issue.
Hello.
Yeah, Jimmy, go for it.
Okay, Anthony. This has been a problem because the Senate, the whole legislative body, has to have the balance of power for a democracy to work. This has been a problem for years and years and years, and until we have a body that will actually represent the people's interests, it will always fail. The whole thing will be a farce, a mockery, and they keep making fun of us. All our demonstrations should be geared toward making the democracy work. The legislature has to represent our interests and not sign these bogus agreements, not go with the this uh, idea of you know you know simply giving up their Liberian interests for their personal aggrandizement. So when are we going to wake up and make the legislature do what they have to do?
Thank you, Jimmy.
That's my statement.
Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah. When will the Liberian people wake up? Maybe I should start with the people of Nimba County. Prince Johnson is no decent man for him to be their representation. And I will not hire. If even the people of Nimba will get angry, so be it. Prince Johnson is not a better representation of your county. You have embarrassed yourself over and over. It is about time you think about it. I understand it's democracy. That is your choice. But your choice say more about you than you think. What you think? All right, let me take this caller. John, you have a minute. Go ahead, Mr. Manglo.
How you doing, bro? And
Yeah.
listen, look, our whole system is dysfunctioning because we didn't start from where we're supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
Democracy doesn't work in an elected society. It doesn't work. When people don't even know why they will vote wrong. And when they vote wrong, they will have wrong people to perform the job, which will lead us to what we have. The issue about Prince Johnson. Do you know that Prince Johnson resigned? Apparently, resigned from his position, the position that the American government made a noise about. But he took Jeremiah Cone and put him there as deputy. What does Jeremiah Cone knows about security that he was deputy? But anyway, they put him there. Why is Prince Johnson keen about being in that place? Because if there's anything that any country wants to do concerning Liberia, they will hear it. And he wants to know so that if they got to come and get him, the Senate will have to know. NSA will not do anything unless they know. So that's why.
Thank you.
And I heard today, it might not be true, but I heard that they moved him from there and put him on the Ways and Means Committee.
That is true. That is true. Yes.
And why is Barney Semmers said that? Barney Semmers also should resign.
Right.
You know, and if we want to be fair to our people. But anyway, that's the Liberia we have. And until we stop playing with ourselves, that's what we have.
Thank you, John. That is true. And I reported that here. The very Abachi who got embarrassed. I don't know if he's embarrassed and have to crawl on his knee to beg Prince Johnson for him to resign, who are pointing to ways, means, and finance. And I think I talk about that here. But folks, we have to leave it there because of time, because this broadcast is being relayed on the radio. We are live on the radio, Hot FM 107.9. And this is what I'm going to close with. The Liberian Senate is a true representation of greed in every respect. And so I'm going to read for you a poem that captures the excessive greed, not only on the part of legislators, but also on the part of people in the executive branch of government. We're going to read that poem. Liberia is dying slowly and painfully because of greed. And this particular poem that is going to close us is written by Rabbi Monsieur Pade. And this poem is going to take us home. And Rabbi writes, "O decrepit greed, your enormities interpret you, sting and pain to the bone marrow. For we cannot fathom how you subject us to the scorching captivity of poverty amid abundance in dire wealth. O contemptuous and foolhardy greed, it beats our imagination how you demean us to a begging for crumbs nation, to other nations, when the bosom of our nation is crammed with vast and rich natural resources. O egregious greed, we know and you know you are the reason for our poor healthcare system, wherein our hospitals lack vaccine, needed drugs, and equipment to prevent and heal curable diseases. Oh, wicked greed, we know. And you know you are the reason for the appalling, disgusting, embarrassing state of our educational system. Oh, awful greed, we know you are the very reason why our country is ridiculously and painstakingly underdeveloped. No superhighways, no overhead bridges, standard airports, seaports, inadequate and unreliable electricity, no reliable power-borne water, and despairing social economic living condition. Or obnoxious greed, your insensitive, incalculable loss to possess all at the painful detriment of the struggling squalor poor masses is not only paranoid but utterly barbarous. O menacing greed, your avidity for wealth to satisfy your garish lifestyle has entrenched corruption in our country and the entire ecosystem of our nation, as public theft and impunity are acceptable norms. O unremorseful greed, what a monsters you are. Where is your conscience, pride, honor, and dignity, if you have any? Oh, stinking greed, do you not see the masses groaning and busting in starving hunger, dying in hospitals due to the lack of drugs and equipment? Why some have shamefully become street beggars and rolled off abominable things obtaining in the homeland due to extreme poverty you have subjected to us? Oh, unsympathetic greed, can you not see underage girls engrossed in prostitution to earn a living and young boys hooked on dangerous drug substances and perishing in ghettos by the day? Oh, heinous greed, do you not see the surge in infant mortality and maternal mortality rates caused by poor and horrifying healthcare system, which is attributed to greed? Oh, disdainful greed, you are. Why are you blinding your eyes to the socio-economic calamity, untold mystery you have caused for us? Oh, hapless and unappeasing greed, have you not had enough? How much more millions, if not billions of dollars you must steal and deposit in offshore accounts? Oh, hawkish, disreputable greed. How much more condominiums do you want to acquire? How much more exotic vehicles do you want to add to your aerially glamorous and fleets of luxurious car? Another private jet? A few pleasurable yachts? A few more gorgeous paramounts? Oh, greed. We wonder how much more worth and goodies will satisfy your material taste. Oh, pernicious greed, what good is it to acquire the whole world and lose your soul? Oh, nefarious greed, enough is enough. You have impoverished, depraved, subjugated, demeaned, demoralized us for almost 2 centuries and counting. Can you pity and spare us for a moment? Oh, decadent greed, must we perish in poverty and misery before you discontinue your vicious debauchery and savagism of the homeland? Oh, disgusting and abominable greed. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired of your malady. We are weary, depressed, bruised for enduring your decades of iniquities. Oh, notorious greed, social economic freedom, equal distribution of the country's wealth, and the right to live in just and proper human conditions at what we long for And all we unapologetically demand, oh infamous greed, you are nothing but a dreadful sadist, a disgusting foe, a Maryland demon. We hate you, we rebuke you, we curse you, and we shall fight and conquer you, and really reclaim you, and reclaim from you all you have stolen from us. Oh, bigoted greed, enough is enough. We can endure no more of your blistering agony. We are tired. We are wailing. We are hurting. Please give us a chance to relish what God has gloriously endowed upon our land. And may we inform you that some fateful day you will pay dearly and proportionally for the decades of devastation cruelly inflicted on us. And to you, fellow Liberians, that greed represents the Liberian Senate. And that is why we brought to you the Liberian Senate. It's a complete letdown, the case of Prince Johnson. My name is Anthony Sear. I brought you yet another exciting edition of the Hour of Politics. Yet at Focus on Liberia, we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Mama Liberia. This is how we will come to the end of this broadcast. But folks, you know, we do not usually end with this broadcast without bringing you that song that says, in spite of this all, we are all Liberians. Despite Prince Johnson and those at the Senate not having our best interests at heart, we are all Liberians. And that song is taking us home. I'll catch you on the radio next Thursday, same time here. I Focus on Liberia and live on Hot FM 107.9. Thank you, and may God bless Liberia. Bye-bye, folks.
We are Liberians.